Ladies, my fellow mommies, we are always so busy on the go, kids screaming in the back seat, sleeping babies. I have the ultimate hack for you.
Welcome to the Stay Fit Mom Podcast with Krista and Tracy, your go-to girls for health, fitness, and keeping it real in mom life.
If you can't seem to get in a good groove with your nutrition and exercise program, this is for you.
We've coached thousands of women using macros for over 8 years, and I'm well known around here for my 5-day meal prep videos.
What does a macro balanced meal look like?
Hit subscribe to the Stay Fit Mom Podcast and join us for a fun, meaningful journey toward a healthier, happier you.
You got this, Mom.
Welcome to another episode of the Stay Fit Mom Podcast. And today's episode is a special one because I've got a very unique guest. It's Stay Fit Grandma. Welcome to the show, Mom.
Thank you, Tracy. You're my baby.
My mom is my biggest fan, but also I think all of my followers are your biggest fan, Mom.
Oh, no. I know everywhere I go. Oh, I know you. You're Tracy's mom. And I say, yes, I am.
It's funny because I'll post a video of my mom. I have this one. She's in her backyard and she's reading her Bible and she has her hummingbirds all around her. And everyone says always, oh, she's living the life. She's got the best.
I am living my life. And I love it.
What are your retirement hobbies, Mom?
YMCA, do my exercise. And now I'm doing sourdough bread.
Sourdough. So my mom
Yeah.
was just here. She was just here in Florida visiting me. Let's just talk a little bit about when you were here. You introduced me to sourdough. Why did you want to do sourdough, Mom? What got you into it?
I think it's a little bit healthier than regular bread. So I'm trying to avoid chemicals in the food that you eat. And for my grandkids, I'm trying to make some for Mackie and Corey that are here. And now when I went to Florida, I want to do the same thing.
Mackie and Corey are my niece and nephew. So how many grandkids do you have, Mom?
I had the total of 10. I had 2 for my stepson, Brian. I had 2 girls. And I had 6 from you. And I had 2 from Grayson.
Which is my brother. Yes.
Exactly. And Grayson's kids are the little ones. And Brian's kids are the older ones. You are in the middle.
Yep, mine are mixed in the middle. Okay, tell everybody, Mom, where you're from, because if you've never heard my mom before, you probably noticed she has a little bit of an accent. And some of my best Instagram stories that I've ever got feedback on, Mom, were when I was imitating your accent. So where are you from?
I'm original for Acapulco, but I grew up in Mexico City.
And when did you move to the United States?
1978.
So you've been here since 1978. So English
really is my second language. I didn't learn to speak English until I moved to the United States. So I just learned from your dad. So a lot of people used to make fun of me because they say, where is your husband from? And I say, from Boston. Your husband have an accent. Where are you from? I said, I'm from Mexico. Then why you speak that way? I said, because I had the Mexican Bostonian accent. I learned the accent from my husband.
Yeah, so no formal schooling. You didn't learn English in Mexico growing up.
No,
You did.
no, I learned when I come to the United States.
So tell us a little bit about what that was like. How did you do that? Because I feel like that would be a very hard thing to do, to just go to another country and, oh, I'm just going to learn the language. So how did, and you said you learned it from my dad. How did that work? What did that look like? Tell us the story.
We communicate a lot with a dictionary. And it's funny now because we did have a big fight when we first married. And that was because the translation of the Spanish to English, I told my husband, hey, you are queer. And he got so upset because I called him queer. And he said, no, I'm not. And I said, yes, you are queer. And he said, no. And I said, look at the dictionary. It says queer. You are queer. And when I'm trying to talk him, I was just going to tell him, you are chicken. So in Mexico, you call a queer guy, we just say, oh, you chicken when you don't want to do something. And I want to go dancing. And he didn't want to go dancing because he said he didn't know how to dance. And I said, you chicken. So that was the biggest fight I ever had with your dad.
Oh man, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, that could be a problem.
Language, when you translate, it is a big difference. I used to say, instead I say dishwasher, I say, I'm going to put the dishes in the wash disher. backwards because a lot of Spanish or English, whatever you want to say, is backwards. You don't say car wash, you say wash car. So I had to learn little by little.
Yep. I love it. We have all sorts of stories like that. So, speaking of the language, you just DIY'd it. You just learned how to speak English with a dictionary in your hand, no formal training, and you just figured it out. But really, mom, that's how you do a lot of things in your life is no formal training. You just say, you know what, I'm going to figure that out. And now you have the best teacher of all. Who's your best teacher?
YouTube, that's my university.
So, what's the latest
Everything.
thing that you've been YouTubing?
Oh, my husband just gave me a camera and he wanted me to learn about the camera that he gave me. So I'm being YouTube to find out how to use it.
It's a GoPro, right?
That's correct.
So a GoPro camera, you're wearing it around your head because are you going to be a full-time content creator, mom? Maybe that's what you need.
No, I might just gonna use it when we go in the cruise. That's why he bought it for me.
Okay.
So we can take pictures under the water.
You can do the GoPro under the water.
Yes, so we'll see how
Wow.
they come
Not
out.
just pictures, but it's video.
Videos too, yes.
Oh, that'll be fun. Tell us about, let's see, how old are you, mom?
73 and a half.
Okay.
Yes.
73 and a half. When somebody asks you how old you are, do you get nervous about responding or do you feel super proud of how old you are?
I am super proud of how old I am because the things I do, I feel that some of the people can't do it anymore. So I hope I can keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So my mom is super fit grandma, and my kids, every time she comes over, they're like, "Oh, grandma, she is the energizer bunny. You never run out of energy. You want to play
Right.
all the things and do all the things. And you're getting up there in age, mom, but I forget it because she is, let's play some pickleball outside." And then we were playing video games, and grandma played video games. And she's always, I'm going for a walk with the dog. Oh, I want to go for a walk with the dog. And you're just an energizer bunny. Have you always been that way, mom? Tell him.
Yes, I think so. I'm a little bit hyper, I think, so like regular people.
It's
Mm.
funny because my niece has just been diagnosed with ADHD, and we have been reading all the books. And I think I shared this on the podcast, but we've been reading all the books. And as me and my mom are reading all the books, we're like, we also have this, right, mom?
Yes, I'm a lot calmer now than when I was younger, but a lot I feel like, yes, I might be there.
Yeah. So you are retired, but you didn't say what you're retired from. What did you do for a living?
I used to be a poker dealer at the Palacio.
I love telling people that because I'm from Las Vegas. My parents were poker dealers, and they're like, "What? That's a real thing?" Because it does
Yeah.
sound so stereotypical. I'm from Vegas. My parents are poker dealers. So how'd you get into dealing poker?
Oh, I used to play poker in Mexico. I learned to play poker with my friends. So when I come to United States, and I said, well, if I had to work, I want to work where I can make money. So I see poker dealers make money. And I was a change girl, just making the minimum, but I see poker dealers make more money. So I decided to be a poker dealer. And that time you did was a poker dealer too. And then I work in the Mirage. I opened the Mirage and then I opened Bellagio.
And so that's where
So
you retired from is Bellagio. And
yes.
you've been on TV for the World Series of Poker. And you think it's a simple job, but mom, I think it's a pretty hard job because there's so much math in it when they're making the bets and you're trying to keep track of it all. The hand moves so fast. So it's not an easy job.
It is not. It's all depend what limit you deal. When you deal high limit, you deal with thousands and millions. You have to pay a lot of attention. A lot of dealers get nervous. Thank God I wasn't nervous at all, and I have a good time doing that.
So if you've ever watched the World Series of Poker, you might have seen my mom on there at one point. But yeah, anyway, so now you're retired and take us through a day in the life of your retired life.
I take my grandson to hockey. Then I drop him in the school. Then I go to the Y by around 9 o'clock. And then I get out of the Y around 12:30 because I do spin bike, I do pickleball, and I do silver sneakers. So that's my 3 classes that I take every day. And then I come home, have lunch, and they said, yes, watch TV a little bit, but don't worry. I'm really tired by the time I get out of the Y.
If you're keeping track, that's 3 hours at the YMCA that my mom spends at the gym every Monday through Friday.
That's correct. Sometimes Saturdays too.
Whenever she travels to visit me and she's getting ready to go home, she's like, I've got to book my classes. I've got to get my YMCA scheduled. They fill up so fast.
Yes, I had
So
to
she's
sign up
like,
for every single class 3 days ahead. And if you
wow.
don't sign up, then you out of luck. So I put my alarm in my phone so I can sign up.
And do you get a little bit of insurance benefit because you're working or a kickback or something from your insurance?
Yeah, they give you, I think, $5 a week if you go to any exercise. And then if you go to church, they give you another $5. I go to church every Sunday, so I had no problems to make my money.
I think it's great that they're incentivizing the senior citizens to get in there and get healthy for good reasons. But like you were saying, you've always been this energizer mom, DIY, do everything yourself, but you've also always been health conscious. How come, mom? How come you've always cared about that so much?
I had to say because I lost my parents when I was 11 and a half. And I remember my mom doing sit-ups and some exercise. So I guess I learned from my mom to do that. And my dad was pretty sporty. He used to water ski and all that stuff. So kind of born with that exercise. And then I don't know, I just love to do exercise and I love to be skinny because I don't like when I'm fat. I was a time when I had my thyroid that got pretty big, and I said, no more. I need to stop. So every time I get a little bit weight, I say, I need to go back. I can't stop.
You just said every time I get a little bit big. Do you mean like anytime your pants get a little tighter, you're like, oh, I got to reel this in a little bit?
Yep. I said, exactly. When your pants get tight, I don't want to buy a bigger size of pants.
That's a good check. It's
Mhm.
time to reel it in. Okay. And then also, I'm just trying to think of just different memories that I have of you. I have this memory of, go ahead, mom. What are you doing right now? Because they can't see you. So what are you doing?
I used to compete in a speed walk, remember? Because I can run, but I can walk fast. So that was my competition that I used to do in Vegas. There used to be a corporate challenge, and I joined that one, and I come out in first place, and I always in competition with something.
Yeah. It's a funny story because you reached out for your hotel and they were
Right?
doing this corporate challenge and you wanted to be the speed walker for the team and they turned you down, didn't they, mom?
That's correct. They say no because in that time I was working for the Mirage, and they said we want to win, and we already have our team. I said okay, but before the competition, they called me. They said the number one girl that come always in first place got sick. Can you come and try on? And I said, okay. So I went and try on, and when I try on, I beat the number one speed. She said, we want you in my team. I said, okay. So I come on first place. And then the next year they said, are you coming back to work with us? And I said, no. I said, why? What happened? Are you sick? I said, no, I want to give a chance to somebody else.
Yeah. So you didn't really love it when they weren't willing to give you a chance and then they
Mhm.
needed you last minute. And little did they know that you were this speed walking champion.
No, I just learned to walk because in the Olympics in 1968, there was a Mexican guy who won. So I was looking how he walked, and that's how I learned how to walk fast.
And she moves her hips really quickly back and forth.
You walk with your hips. You don't walk with your feet. You walk with your hips. That's the clue.
And I remember growing up, so we had this treadmill in our house. You would have thought it was a piece of furniture in the middle of the
Mm.
living room, and you were working full time all the time. You were always working, and you would get home from work and you would get on your treadmill and you'd walk your steps. How much were you walking every day? Do you remember?
I used to walk minimum a half an hour, sometime an hour.
And I remember you had the ankle weights around your
Yes,
legs.
and my ankles and my wrist,
Yep.
and the
So
wrist
she
and your ankles.
I remember thinking it was silly. Oh, my mom with all her walking. And now here I am telling all of our clients that you need to walk. That's the most important exercise that you could do is just get your steps in, walk, walk. You knew, mom, before it went viral and it's been proven by all the data.
I did tell you, I said, whatever you do when you will start doing exercise, I said, when you stop doing CrossFit, Don't stop walking because walking is the number one exercise and doesn't cost you nothing and you don't hurt your knees. Just walk. Don't run.
Yeah. And so you're still walking all of these years later. You kept it up.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your nutrition journey because everything is on the internet in terms of as a parent, sometimes I get a little bit second guessing myself. Oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't be saying this to my kids, or maybe I should be teaching them this, or there's just information overload now. And some of that information is, oh, don't tell your kids so much about, I don't know what the word is. I guess there's caution against what you should say or not say in terms of diet. And you don't want to put your food issues on your children and things like that. But distinctly remember you, mom, always caring about your diet, being on a diet. And I don't feel like it wrecked me. I feel like it benefited me just watching you always caring about your nutrition and what you were eating. So tell us a bit about just all the different diets that you've done throughout the years. Can you remember?
Yes, I did Weight Watchers. I did, what do they call that diet where you only eat meat?
Then they called it Atkins.
Atkins. I did the 700 calories a day. I try everything and then say the best way is eat everything but with moderation.
Yeah. And you were actually one of our very first macro. You've done macros, you counted macros, you
Yes,
still count macros here and there. So
I
tell us
still
about.
count. Right now, I'm counting macros again because after the holidays, I gain a little bit of weight and I want to lose the weight. So
And
I'm go back in macros. But something I had to say, being macros, it made you more conscious or eating more meat,
or
more
protein.
protein. So I eat more, even when I gain a little bit of weight, is because holidays you eat the pie, you eat the cake, you eat the candies. You can't avoid it. But I was always eating my protein. So now I'm just back to take not so many cakes or candies or nothing like that. Just eat normal.
So for somebody who's listening that is over 60, we get so many messages, mom, from people that are like, can you really help me? Because I am in my 60s, I'm in my 70s, and you just look like this spring chicken. Of course,
Oh,
macros are going to work for you. You're in your 30s, but what about me? I'm older. Is this going to work for me? What would you say to that?
it worked for everybody. In fact, last time I was in macros, my doctor said, "What have you been doing? Your numbers are so good." And I said, "Macros?
Yeah. So, best results are when you're tracking and you're being conscious about eating macro balanced. And
That's
that's just,
correct.
yeah. And that's just what you said, which is focusing on eating high protein with carbs and fats in moderation. Because when you're saying cookies and cakes and all the sweets and all the things that we love, that's all
That's all.
carbs and fats that are way out of
Mm,
proportion, right?
yeah.
I remember too, we'll just go back to Weight Watchers. Do you feel like Weight Watchers and counting macros are similar in ways? How are they similar? How are they different?
They're a little bit similar, really. They count a little bit numbers instead of macros, and they do kind of give you to eat everything too. So it is really similar, but I don't think they focus too much on protein. They just focus more in calories.
So, in terms of tracking your macros, what are some of the things that you do to make the numbers work for you? What are some strategies that you have? Maybe to somebody that's listening that's like, that seems so overwhelming to me to track macros. What do you do?
I think you have to find out what you really like to eat, and then you log your food the day before. And but it's Sunday you don't have time. Like for me yesterday, I had to give you an example. I didn't have time to log my numbers good. So by the end of the night, I said, I need more protein. And I said, I don't need no fat. So what can I do? So I scramble some egg whites and I make my salad and I had the egg whites cool off. So I put it in my salad and I eat my salad with scrambled eggs. And let me tell you, it tastes good. You don't even know the difference. I don't use too much oil. My numbers come out perfect.
Ooh, perfect. So keep that
Hmm.
trick. If you need protein at the end of the night, egg whites always works. It's just straight protein, but you got to get resourceful with those egg whites. So mix it in with a good salad. What else?
I did something else too because I need some more protein. And I said, what can I do? And when I was in Florida, I see you making you coffee with your protein. So I said, I don't want to have coffee because I already had coffee and I like my coffee black. So in the afternoon was a chilly, and I said, how about if I put it in my tea? So I make a tea with thin egg, come out pretty good. So I
Mm,
like my tea with the protein.
okay, a little hot tea with protein.
Yeah, and they come out good.
I love the advice that you gave about put in the food that you normally eat. What are you
Mhm.
normally eating? And then you just adjust the portions
Yes,
of each thing.
exactly. And if I'm never hungry when I am in macros, I'm always say, Tracy's, I had too much food, but I like cottage cheese with applesauce. That's for me, it's like eating a pie.
That's a
You
good,
put
that's good.
cottage cheese, apples with cinnamon and
Yep.
applesauce.
Yep.
It's
Cottage
really
cheese,
good.
cinnamon, and applesauce. That's a great tip. Great macro friendly, high protein
Yep,
treat that hits the spot.
yep, that's your dessert.
Yep. But yeah, I was just thinking in general, let's say that you love spaghetti and it's your favorite meal. You can make that more macro
Yes,
balanced and macro friendly. What would
you
you
eat,
do?
you use less pasta, you put your sauce normal, and you make it with a lot more turkey meat.
Yep.
Just put the turkey meat, and that's your protein.
Yeah. And that's why we love macros so much because you don't feel like you're sacrificing the foods that you love. You're just tweaking them a little bit to make
Hmm.
them more, you
Friendly.
know, yeah, more balanced. You showed me that you received your new Stay Fit Mom cookbook.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I need to go to the supermarket to buy all the stuff I needed.
We talked a lot about your diets through the decades. What motivates you to keep moving now at 73? Do you ever feel like, you know what, I'm just too old for this. I don't want to do this anymore. Do you ever feel that way?
I think so. We all feel sometimes, even when you age, you say, "Oh, I'm too old to do that." But you have to keep trying because if you have grandkids, you want to play with them. You don't want them to push you. You want to push them. You want to carry them. So that's why I push my exercise to be able to keep up with my grandkids.
So, if someone were to say to you, I don't know where to start, I'm just too old, is it even worth it to start now? What would you say to that?
It's worth every penny. You want to be fit. You want to be able to move. You don't want to be sitting in the couch all your time. It is hard. Find a partner. Find a partner that want to do exercise with you. They want to go to the Y. They want to go to any fitness center, or they want to walk. Walk with somebody because that person will push you, and you push that person to walk. That way, when you feel lazy and you don't want to do it, and you say, "Oh, she's waiting for me, so I had to do it."
I love that. We've been talking a lot about in our Ninja Insider group about how community is everything and having that accountability is everything. And that's what you're saying is don't do it alone. Don't go
No,
alone. If you
no.
have a friend that you're going with, then it's becomes a social activity and it doesn't feel so uncomfortable and so hard because you're doing it with a friend.
Yeah, and then you're gonna say, "Oh, I feel so good. I'm glad I come." It was days in the morning. I say, "Oh, I don't want to do it," but then I go and do it. I say, "I'm so glad I did it," instead of just sitting down and do nothing.
Yep. Love it. Let's talk about parenting, motherhood, and grandmotherhood and your legacy, mom. First, you and I feel like have a very close relationship now. Have we always?
We always have a good relation. It was just a typical girl that sometimes you want some things, and I said no. I remember when you was in high school and you want a new dress, and I buy you a dress before because we went to a wedding in Mexico, and then you have a homecoming in high school, and you want a new dress, and I say, no, you have a dress, a brand new dress. You only wear one. Oh no, mom, I already wear that, and I said, no, it's brand new. And you were so upset. I remember one of your friends say, I buy the dress for her. And I say, no, it's not a dress. She have a dress to wear. Everybody love your dress.
I know.
Do you remember that story?
Yes, I have that memory. And now, of course, every time I go to Ross, I think of you, mom, because I always find all my outfits now at Ross because everything's just way cheaper there. And I really have turned into you in a lot of ways. And I remember growing up, and anytime that I would get an attitude with you, which was frequent, I had an attitude growing up. I remember you telling me at one point, oh, I hope you get a daughter that is just as sassy as you are. And now here I am with a sassy teenage daughter and I'm hanging on for dear life.
Just have patience. It will change. They will grow up. Love them. That's all it is.
But it is a lot of those same conversations where she wants things and I say no and she gets mad.
You had to put your boundaries. You had to set
Boundaries.
boundaries. And you have to stick with that and say, nope. Just like when I did it with you when you were so upset for the dress. I say, nope.
Yeah.
And if you know that's the right thing for that person, then do it.
Yep. So what do you think it means to be a mom and a grandmother?
I love it. I say I had the bigger jackpot. I had 2 great kids. Can't complain. They don't smoke. They don't drink. They don't gamble. I really hit the jackpot. I always say church and the sport helped me raise my kids.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you next. How can you raise strong kids?
Yes, keep them busy. Don't give them too much freedom because then they can get in trouble. Keep your kids close. Let their friends come to your house.
How do you define success at this stage in your life?
Just keep doing what you think is right.
I think if I look around at what the world promotes as success, extreme wealth and a great career, which none of those things are bad. None of those things are
That
bad. Like
is
those are fine
that
things.
that is fun, but money is not everything.
I look at your life, mom, and I'm like, she's just got it. She's successful. She's
No,
made it. And that's because you seem very content with what you have. That's one of the things I admire most about you is your contentment in your life. So, how do you find contentment in exactly where you are?
just to see you guys how good you guys are doing. My kids is everything. It's my whole life. And I love my house. I don't have to have a palace. I just need a little house and I can be happy. I don't like to be angry with nobody. I think sometimes when you're angry, you reflect angry to other people. You don't want to reflect angry, you want to reflect happiness. So focus on the little things and the big things will come.
I love it. So, to wrap this up, mom, what advice do you have for women who want to feel strong and energetic as they age?
Exercise, number one. Keep exercise. Going to church. Find God. Don't forget Him. He's in your life all the time. He's watching you. He's watching all your family. And eat right.
I love it. Any advice that you want to give to the younger moms out there?
Love your kids. They grow up fast. Have patience with them. You feel tired, but it will be a time where you say, I wish my kids are with me.
Mom, I love this. Thank you for coming on and giving us all of your wisdom. We can't get enough of Stay Fit Grandma.
I love you, baby. Thank you for inviting me to be in your podcast.
You're so welcome, Mom. All right. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks for listening.
I love you. Bye.
We appreciate you tuning in to the Stay Fit Mom podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Connect with us on social media and head to stayfitmom.com for more resources and tips. You've got this. See you next time.